Hey guys, after a ton more gameplay, testing feedback from a lot of people, looking through the Discord, and just playing a lot of the units myself, I thought we'd release another tier list, an updated tier list, now that we've been able to spend more time in the game. Plus, there's 2 new units, so we had to do it anyway. Also, something pretty cool happened. I got accepted into the BlueStacks affiliate program, so I've got my own links. So if you're going to be playing the game on BlueStacks, make sure to use my link in the description below. I'll have it pasted first thing. And you can use that to just directly install the game. They do offer top-up discounts on a lot of games. There's not one for Anchor Panic, at least not right now. I don't know if they're going to add one or not. I'll have to figure that kind of stuff out still. But I will be covering some more games where they do offer top-up discounts in there, so keep an eye out for that. So anyway, we have Triple S for the best of the best, SS, which is going to be the majority of what team's going to be made up of. They're just straight up good units. S tier are okay units, they're decent. A tier, you could probably use them in early game, and B tier you're just mostly going to want to stay away from. So we got Newcastle heading into S tier. I also have my old tier list rankings on here, so Newcastle's in the same tier. I'll let you know if they move up or down. So she's a quantum support, deals damage in a straight line. If it only hits one target though, the damage is increased by 80%, so that helps make up for like the damage loss. She can also buff her attack and buff allies quantum damage, even better for a quantum team at Ascension 3. Next up is Dawn in S tier, still in S tier. She's an Ice Striker unit, deals 3x3 grid damage with additional ice damage to the primary target. She buffs her ice damage after each action, and she also gets that buff when attacking enemies with over 60% HP. She's an okay DPS, AoE DPS, but just doesn't stack up to the Fire Lightning team's DPSs. Next up, we got Turn, staying in Triple S tier. Of course, she's a quantum faction breaker that buffs all allies' attack and also causes their damage skills to deal additional quantum damage, which just really buffs your entire team's damage by quite a decent amount. She also buffs everyone's speed, which again means more damage because you're taking more turns, faster turns at least. Super important unit here if you're going to be building the best team possible, and she's good even without any ascensions. Lineblade is staying in A tier. She's a fire stun unit, deals damage to a single target, a decent chance to restrict the enemy from using energy bursts and skills if they have more than 5 burn stacks when she attacks. You can use her at the start. I'm not even going to really talk too much about the B tier units just to keep them going smoother. Speaking of Prism, she is in B tier. She's an Ice Striker. Single target damage, can deal more if targets above 50% HP. Ignores a bit of defense when attacking freezing targets, just no real reason to use her. Except maybe like your first little bit, super early game. Next is Yan, staying in S tier. She's a physical striker, deals AoE damage that can increase per stack of sword energy that she has, with extra damage against the primary target. She gains sword energy from using skills, and it also buffs her attack and ignore defense. Needs to be in a physical team, but a good AoE DPS for physical teams, especially just as a free-to-play player. Next we have Mustang falling down a slot into A tier. She's a physical defender, deals damage in a straight line, plus max HP base damage, so not too bad, to the primary target. Her block chances increased a lot when attacked by enemies that are slower than herself, and she also permanently increases her speed while buffing her damage reduction. So you can use her right in early game. Next up is Ling, going up to SS tier. She was an S. She's a lightning support unit that has an AoE that applies shock, which can trigger extra damage when hit by a lightning attack. Her skills deal extra lightning damage based on target's current HP, and also applies a lightning mark to the target, which reduces their lightning resistance. Super good in a lightning team. Reducing lightning resist, applying shock is just great. Dion is staying in SS tier. She's a nature defender that shields all allies. When that shield expires, it'll also heal them. She also buffs allies' defense as well. Really good for survivability, even better at Ascension 3. Next up is Antelope, going from S tier to SS tier. She's a quantum defender that can shield herself with one skill and shield all allies with an energy shield with her energy burst. Energy shield also buffs block chance and will heal allies when it expires. Just like Dion, really good for survivability. Throw her in your front line, make her fast so she can get the shields up pretty early. Raven is going from A to S tier. She's a physical striker that deals single target damage that buffs her energy burst damage if it defeats an enemy, as well as buffing attack and defense ignore. Good single target physical DPS for free to play players, but just nothing special about her. Leng Jiao is going from S tier to SS tier. She's an ice stun unit that has 2 AoE attacks. She can inflict frozen, and when she releases a skill, she gets a frost crystal stack, which increases her freezing rate. She increases skill damage against freezing enemies for every stack of freezing as well. She's a must-have for an ice team. A lot of crowd control utility coming from her as well. Firefly is going to B tier. Single target damage increases if the target has enough burn stacks. Alicia is also going to B tier, down from A tier. Lightning Striker deals single target damage, good chance to deal extra lightning damage. She buffs her attack and can consume her, Flowing Sakura buff, almost forgot there, for increased energy burst damage, but not too much reason to use her. I might rearrange some of these tiers a little bit at the end, so stick around for that, just in case. Echo is joining turn in triple S tier. She's a lightning breaker. She buffs all allies' attack, gives them a musical note which can either buff their attack again or their crit damage. Her AoE can inflict electro ban, which means the target won't be able to use energy burst for 1 turn. That's super strong. Plus it reduces their lightning resistance. She's also going to be healing our team. Just really good unit, even better at Ascensions 3 and 6. I mean, I guess that's gonna be for a lot of units, but still. Chimia is going to A tier. She's a physical striker, deals an extra 50% damage if the enemy has a shield. She can also ignore a little bit of the target's defense and just slightly buff her physical damage. Abyssal is moving from A tier to S tier. She's an ice support, deals AoE damage, can reduce enemies' ice resistance. She buffs all allies' ice damage and can buff her attack as well. You can use her as like a AoE DPS for an ice team, plus she'll be increasing your ice team's damage. Lilira is going to triple S tier. Quantum healer that shields all allies and also heals all allies, both based on the percent of her max HP. Whenever allies act, they have a good chance to get another shield, and her healing is buffed with other quantum units on the field. Really good unit for survivability. Another unit that you're going to want to build if you just try to make like the best team possible. And she can also revive once you get her ascended enough, which is crazy. Strain, going from S tier to SS tier. She's also a quantum healer, but she heals the lowest HP ally with 1 skill and all allies with another, so she got 2 good skills. Bonus healing to allies under 50% HP. She also gets a healing buff after using a skill, so even more healing. Sounds pretty good. One of her passives can be a double-edged sword up to a point, because she buffs attack by a lot, yet she's going to lower defense by even more when she uses her energy burst. You'll just have to ascend her enough to get rid of that big drawback, but once you do, she's a really good buffer and healer. Plus we get a ton of free shards from her just for playing the game, right? Deling is going from S tier to SS tier. She's a quantum breaker that buffs allies' attack and a 3x3 grid around her, and her AoE applies a damage over time debuff. She can also buff allies' defense and attack. Ascensions 3 and 6 make her like a lot more valuable as a support unit though. Diamond is going from A to S tier. She's an ice stun unit that deals single target damage that can inflict frozen, which is basically a stun. It also reduces ice resistances. Can be okay on an ice team, but by no means should be your priority when you're trying to build one. Yuanya is going to A tier. She's a fire support with an AoE that can deal extra fire damage, and she increases damage to the same primary target. Nothing special about her at all. Catalpa is also A tier. She's a natural faction support that deals single target damage and has a damage over time sort of debuff that damages enemies at the end of the turn. Alice is going to SS tier. She's a lightning faction striker that deals high single target damage that buffs her crit damage whenever she kills an enemy. Whenever attacks don't crit, she buffs her crit with charge, which also deals more damage at 4 stacks. She can deal some solid damage and can help carry your lightning team through to like the end of mid game. Merlot is going to S tier. She's a fire striker that deals line damage, has an AoE that gives her an extra 60% crit rate to targets with more than 4 stacks of burn. She also deals extra fire damage to targets with more than 30% HP and extra damage to targets with burn. Pretty good fire AoE DPS. If you can get more units to help her reach those burn stacks, because she really needs it. Otherwise, she's not that good at all. Neon's up next, going into S tier. She's a fire breaker that deals AoE damage that can reduce fire resistance and skill damage. She buffs her own fire damage with Spark and also applies that to allies at 40% of the effectiveness. Basically an early game fire support, early up to mid, I guess. She's pretty decent. Artisan's going to A tier. She's a lightning defender, deals line damage, chance to reduce enemies' damage dealt, and she heals herself when releasing skills. I was going to say inflicting skills, and buffs her defense based on other lightning allies on the team. Grenache is going up quite a bit. I think I had her in A tier last time. She's going up to SS. She's a fire support that deals damage to a 3x3 grid, which consumes her stacks of Illusion Flame to deal extra damage and inflict burns. She gets Illusion Flame from using skills, and it also buffs her attack and lifesteal. She also buffs allies' lifesteal in a 3x3 grid around her. She's just good, all-around good unit for dealing damage, for healing, applying burns for the fire team. Centaria is going into SS tier. She adds bonus quantum damage to allies in a 3x3 grid with one skill, and her energy burst removes a debuff and heals allies. She's also going to be buffing allies' attack with her charge blessing, which at Ascension 3 has a higher chance to apply, and Ascension 6 is guaranteed to apply every single turn. Snowfox is dropping down to B tier. Ice Striker, single target damage. Lycosia is staying in S tier. She's a physical striker, deals line damage that increases in damage for each target in the line, so it can go up or down, depends. She buffs her skill damage and physical damage and defense penetration as well. You can use her at the beginning if you're building a fire team. Sparklewing is heading from A tier to S tier. She's a faction support, deals line damage while applying 3 stacks of burn to the last unit hit. She also reduces the target's fire resist and can buff allies' crit rate, which is awesome. Can be used as a support and fire team at the start. Flicker is heading to SS tier. She's a quantum defender that deals straight line damage as well as AoE damage that deals max HP based damage as a bonus. I was waiting for when I was gonna mess up. She also grants all allies shield and can ignore fatal damage once per battle and recover to 30% HP. One of the better supports in the game, just constantly giving everybody shields. Marceline going to S tier. She's a fire striker, deals AoE damage that increases energy burst damage for each enemy defeated up to 200%. Her skills apply a tear debuff, which increases the fire damage they take, and she buffs her crit damage depending on how many fire allies are on the field. Actually, I think I should put her in SS tier. Seems a little bit too good for S tier. Next up, we got Olivia going to SS tier. She's up from A tier to SS tier as well, just like Grenache. I really underestimated the fire units when I first made the tier list. She's a fire striker unit that deals 3x3 grid damage, and her burst damage increases for each stack of battle will, which will be consumed. She gets battle will when a fire faction ally uses a skill. It's going to buff her fire damage and upgrade her skill to an AoE at 6 stacks, which is great. She also buffs allies normal and energy skill damage. Good damage buffs, works best on a fire team obviously. Now we got Karanissa going into triple S tier. She's a lightning striker, deals high single target damage to enemies in the back row. When she kills an enemy, she'll also buff her energy burst damage by 10% up to 5 stacks, so 50%. Oh, I stuttered there. When she kills an enemy, she also buffs her energy burst damage by 10% up to 5 stacks, so up to 50%. Also, after she defeats an enemy, she triggers an energy burst at no cost, dealing 60% of the previous skill's damage. So more attacks, more chance to kill, therefore more energy burst buffs. Really good damage. Like, she can sweep up entire stages by herself, just with like endless ultimates, but just a lot less valuable in bosses because she can't utilize what she's built for. Next up, we got Rose going into SS tier. She's a physical support that buffs all allies' attack with her bounty tracking buff. Increases it with physical allies. It also makes allies apply bounty to enemies when they have her buff. Allies also load ammo for her, which at full stacks allows her to enter the full firepower state to clear all debuffs and use an AoE, and a 2-row skill that deals more damage per bounty stack. So she's got 2 new attacks. She can also apply Bounty using her full firepower skills. Bounty also reduces defense and physical res on the enemies that it gets applied to. Pretty good support, even better in a physical team, but she's still just all around good, right? And next we got Yooka-Lee going into S tier. She's an Ice Striker, deals single target damage, which increases if the target has more than 6 stacks of freezing. She gets a stack of Frost Plume every 2 attacks, which increases her defense penetration and crit rate, plus attack when she's at max stacks. If using a skill against an enemy under 65% HP, she'll deal extra ice damage plus more damage to shielded targets. Really needs to be an ice team for her energy burst to be effective though. So I think I'm going to move Grenache up a bit, Lilira down a bit, Strain, I'm going to move up a spot. And I think the other tiers are pretty good. Maybe just move Yuanya and Limeblade up a bit. Yeah, looks good to me. I obviously don't have any of the blue tier units in here because you're going to move on from them so fast, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for the tier list. Let me know if you'd move anybody up or down in here, left or right. And remember to check out the description below for the BlueStacks link to install the game. It'll really help me out. And I'll catch you next time. See ya.